done an unhaul since before we moved house. I haven't done an unhaul since moving into this house, since having this library set up. And when I first set this library up, it was all neat and tidy and beautiful. And a lot of it still is. And I do still have space. It's not like I've filled it all in. But I have been looking at my shelves a lot lately. Obviously I'm doing this 30 in 30 challenge, so I'm picking out new books to read very frequently. And I was looking at my shelves and thinking, you know, some of the books on here just don't spark joy the way they used to. So I think it's about time that I do the first unhaul of the new library. So, let's do it. I don't know if I'm entirely in focus. I've got you just set to autofocus because I'm going to be flitting around to pick up books and dance, apparently. Is something I'm also doing. But yeah, let's just see what I can unhaul from in here. I don't have a particular goal. I'm not doing this as like a challenge type unhaul, just a kind of a spring clean of the books that no longer spark joy on my shelves, the books that either I'm not gonna read, not gonna reread, etc. And the first ones that come to mind, I'm worried I'm gonna upset some people, I'm sorry. We start with a big one, but the Bone Season series by Samantha Shannon. I have read the first one, and I wasn't, like, massively impressed. I didn't love it. Did I even particularly like it, or was it just kind of meh for me? I don't know. I have the rest of the series, and now she's re-released them all with her preferred text anyway. So if I were to read this series, I would buy the new versions to read the preferred text that's actually gonna fill in any gaps or plot holes that Samantha Shannon has realised she left behind before she continued on the series or whatever. Like, clearly there's a reason she's gone back to rewrite them in her preferred way. So why would I then read these ones? I don't know. And when I read this one, as I say, it didn't particularly blow me away. Will I ever get the desire to actually read the new versions either? I don't know. This series just isn't one that excites me very much. So, it can go. There's 4 down. Another couple that's been on my mind. This kind of hurts. But the Dreamer books from Maggie Stiefvater. We've got Call Down the Hawk and Mr. Impossible. I haven't read Mr. Impossible, but I have read Call Down the Hawk. The Raven Boys is one of my favourite series. I don't know if I talk about that a whole lot, but I love The Raven Boys. I've only read it once. I haven't reread it because I'm terribly concerned that I won't love it as much on reread. And I really love the memories I have of loving that, so I don't know if I ever will reread it. I actually have a tattoo on my back that is inspired by the Raven Cycle. But I didn't love Call Down the Hawk, and I've had no desire to continue this series at all. It didn't feel particularly Raven Cycle-ish. It's different characters. Well, one of the characters is the same, but like the main cast of characters isn't the same cast of characters from the Raven Cycle. It just felt very different, wasn't what I wanted, and I haven't picked up the sequel yet. I haven't even got the 3rd book in this trilogy. Don't think I ever will. Don't think I'm gonna read them. As I say, I have read the first one. I'm not gonna continue it, so it can go. What else makes us feel that way? I'm looking at it whilst I say it, and I'm still reluctant to grab it off my shelf. But these ones can go. I'm not quite ready to unhaul the whole series. Maybe that will come in future. But my hardback of Blood Witch, I have the paperback, and my hardback of Witch Shadow by Susan Dennard. I don't have the paperback. Will I get it? Maybe. Maybe not. I didn't like Witch Shadow as much as I like the rest of this series. I actually did a read-along for The Witchlands when Witch Shadow came out, and it just went downhill. Like, I really liked Blood Witch. Did not like Witch Shadow so much, and I was so excited for this, and then this one was just a massive flop. And it kind of tainted the whole series for me a little bit. but not enough for me to get rid of my paperbacks of the first 3 books and potentially replace my Witch Shadow hardback with a paperback. I don't know when this series is gonna continue. I don't know if I still care enough to continue if the next book does exist somewhere, somewhen, but I prefer the paperback covers anyway. These are pretty, don't get me wrong. I don't have the hardbacks for Truth Witch and Wind Witch. Why am I holding on to these when I can complete my series in paperback and be okay with that? These can go. I did really love Truth Witch though. What else? What else? What else? What doesn't spark joy for us? I'm already pleased with the amount of space that just that alone has opened up for me. This one can go as well. I have read this, but For the Wolf by Hannah Whitten. I have read this. I had an okay time with it. Can I remember a whole lot about it? No. Am I intrigued enough to pick up its sequel? No. I think I'm just happy to let it go. This was very Beauty and the Beast-esque, I do vaguely remember. And the forest was very much an alive character. Yeah. I liked it, I guess. Thinking back on it, did it get 4-star? Maybe. It could have got a 4-star from me, but it's not one that I'm like desperate to pick up the sequel to, so realistically I can't care enough to keep it, so that's another one. Any that spring to your mind that I should get rid of, do you think? Just to keep them fresh, keep them looking like things I'm excited about. And there is still a lot on here that I am excited about. I'm gonna bite the bullet on this one. I should have read this because I'm pretty sure this was on my self-destruct TBR. I'm not gonna review that. I don't think I did terribly, but it's the Black Tab ones that I haven't read, and I can't think what else was on it, but I still haven't read The Midnight Library. It was a self-destruct book, and I'm pretty sure April is the month in which they would be self-destructing, so this would be self-destructing this month anyway. I just don't care for it. I really don't. I have no interest in picking it up. I don't know what about it made me think that I would. Maybe I kind of fell victim to the hype with this one, I'm not sure, but I've got no interest in reading it, so it can go. Next! Let's see if I can find any other Black Tabs that should be self-destructing. But I think I did okay with that self-destruct TBI, you know. I think I did alright. I remember that Goldie Vance book being on there, and I read that. Set Fire to the Gods was on there, and I started that and DNF'd that. It's since been unhauled. There was another one that I started and DNF'd and unhauled that was on there. But there was a good few that I at least tried, so yay for me for that. Can we spy any more Black Tabs? Ooh. Ooh. I've had this book for so long! Elusive by Emily Lloyd-Jones. I think I've been holding on to this because I've read one book from Emily Lloyd-Jones that I think just hit me at the right time, in the right places, and I really enjoyed it. And that was something about hearts. The Hearts We Sold. And I don't know what it was about that just landed so right for me, but it really did. And I think I've been holding on to this in the hopes that maybe Emily Lloyd-Jones is just an author that I'm gonna love everything from now that I've loved one thing from her. But this is like a virus in the future, and there's these superhero-esque kids that are like immune or something. MK virus, the vaccine was created, but it came with a side effect. A small percentage of the population developed superhero-like powers. Okay, so it's not immunity, but they've developed superhero powers in this disease-ridden world. And it sounds very dystopian, and I don't particularly have a draw to dystopia as a genre. I've had it on my shelf for such a long time, and I've had zero interest in picking it up, so I'm sorry to this book. It is your time to finally leave me. Apologies. But you know what, that's what this is about, making sure the books that are still on my shelves are the books that I'm actually interested in reading. So what else am I not interested in actually picking up? Hopefully the answer should be not very many, because this library is my happy place, you know? But What else is at risk? There's one that's definitely at risk. I don't know if I'm going to be able to reach this. It's on one of the top shelves. Watch me struggle. I got it. This one. Ooh. House of Salt and Sorrow by Erin A. Craig. I think this is like a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling or something. I've had it on my shelf for a really long time. Since 2019 apparently. And I haven't picked it up, and I have no desire to pick it up. And if it's been on there since 2019, that's been like, what? 4 years? Time has flown by. I'm pretty sure it's a YA. I think this is one that when it first came out, like, it was quite popular. I saw a lot of people reading it, but it's, yeah, 12 sisters. Suspicious that her sisters' deaths were no accidents. They've been sneaking out at night to attend glittering balls, dancing until dawn in silk gowns and shimmering slippers. That just doesn't actually sound like anything I would particularly enjoy. So it's time for it to go as well. This is going okay. I also have Sheets by Brenna Thumler. I read this one, it was when I lived here, because I remember reading it downstairs, so it's within the last 6 months or whatever, and I was bored by it, didn't particularly like it. I know it's quite a popular graphic novel series, this one. I think there's a few out in it. This young girl runs a laundrette because her mum, I believe, has passed away and her dad is struggling with grief, and there's a sheets ghost that comes to help her. But I just found it very boring. So I have no desire to keep it or continue the series, so it can go. I'm looking at some of my Fairy Loot books thinking, realistically, some of them can probably go as well. Yeah, I'm not sure what from over there, so maybe, like, I've still got space there for more Fairy Loot books to be coming in. Maybe they can stay for now. Oh, no, there's one. Ta-da! A Fragile Enchantment by Alison Saft. This came in like the Regency themed YA box, and I upon reflection, I should have skipped that box because nothing about Regency romance screams, oh yeah, you're definitely Jade's type. But this book in itself, I'm pretty sure, is a love story for the ages, threaded with intrigue and scandal. Regency-ish romance. It's not going to be for me, so it can go. There's other ones that I am also concerned aren't for me, but I do want to try them. If I then DNF them and unhaul them, that's fine, but I would like to try some of the others. I don't think A Tempest of Tea is going to be my cup of tea, but I would like to give it a go. I still don't think I'm going to like Babel, but I want to try it. The Forest Grimm, I've read something from Catherine Purdy before, and I'm not sure if that's going to be one I like. A Feather So Black also concerns me as one I'm not going to enjoy, but I do want to try more of them, because sometimes the Fairy Loot books really do take me by surprise, and I end up enjoying them. I just need to give them a go. Shall we have a little go at the middle grade shelves? Because I feel like there's probably some that can go over there, and that shelf actually is quite packed, and I don't want to have to expand from that shelf. And I'm also finding that this shelf is where a lot of my junk ends up getting dumped, because this shelf doesn't inspire me quite so much. The lighting over here is terrible because the window's here, I'm sorry. Immediately there's a couple here that I know I want to get rid of. We have Valentine Crow and Mr. Death. I read this one in the same video that I read Sheets in, I believe. It was fine, kind of boring, don't really care for it. And The Spirit Glass by Roshani Chokshi. There is a little lizard guy, and that hurts me. So, for that reason, I'm not going to read that one, because I'm still not over the loss of my little lizard guy. So I'm not going to read them. But there's got to be more on here that can go. There just has to be. Immediately the problem is I can't reach the top again. But what have we got? This is one that I've had for a very long time, but it does look like it could be spooky middle grade. When Hetty and Spencer start seeing cryptic messages appear around their grandfather's spooky house on Hoarder Hill, their holiday takes a sinister turn. What is their magician grandfather up to? Ooh, maybe I've just intrigued myself. Spooky season? Maybe. Maybe. Because spooky middle grade is what I like, so I might have just intrigued myself. Oh, this one can go. This one is 10 Riddles of Eartha Quicksmith by Loris Owen. I read this ages ago now, and I did actually really enjoy it, but I don't care to reread it, and I'm pretty sure it's now a series, and I don't care to continue that series either, so this one can go. I think my sisters would actually very much enjoy this, and I think that's where my middle grades will end up going. My sisters will get first dibs on any of my middle grades before they go to a charity shop or something like that. I'm gonna bite the bullet over here. These two. These two can go as well. Skyborn and The Starspun Web by Sinead O'Hart. I read Eye of the North by Sinead O'Hart, loved it, still one of my favourite polar fantasy middle grades. And I think, similarly to the Emily Lloyd-Jones situation, I picked up her other books thinking, I'm going to love everything from her, and have had zero desire to actually read these, and it's been years. And I still have zero desire to read them, so they can go as well. Which is clearing some space quite nicely. This one can go as well. The Night Animals by Sarah Ann Jukes. I have read this one. It was fine. I liked the messages within it. The girl's mother suffers with PTSD, and the girl's way of coping with that is these colourful night animals that help her through. Jake is playing with the dog. Sorry if you can hear him squealing over there. It was fine, it was cute, I liked it, never gonna reread it, don't care that much. There should definitely be more here that's jumping out at me. I still want to read a lot of these. Realistically, I don't think I want to read these anymore. Adam 2 by Alistair Chisholm and The Consequence Girl by Alistair Chisholm. I absolutely loved Orion Lost, but I have had these for such a long time and not read them. So I think realistically, I'm not going to. If I want sci-fi, I don't think I'm going to go for middle grade sci-fi, even though there isn't a whole lot of it, but I don't feel it. I'm not feeling it, it can go. I have no desire to read Rumblestar by Abby Elphinstone. This is a very popular middle grade series that when I was proper into middle grade I wanted to read. Less into middle grade, now I don't have any desire for it, it can go as well. I can't reach that top shelf, which is quite sad because there's a couple up there that should go. But I don't have a step. But I'll tell you about it and I'll get it down when I can be bothered. The Night Silver Promise by Annalise Avery. Don't care for it, don't know what it's about, couldn't tell you anything about it. Came in an Alcrate Junior box, I'm not going to read it, it can go. And Eva Evergreen also can go. Again, had it for ages. I think Gavin read it, and when he was here he said like, oh, you need to unhaul some of your middle grade because you're not going to read any of these, and he mentioned that one as one that he just didn't think was anything particularly special. Correct me if I'm wrong, Gavin, I've just made that up. But those two can go from that top shelf when I can reach them. But otherwise up there we've got all my Sophie Anderson, love. All of my Catherine Arden, love. All of my Alex Bell, love. All of my Jennifer Bell, love. So the top shelf, other than those two, is actually a very good middle grade shelf up there. I'm still on the fence about the Strange Worlds travel agency books. I read the first one and I have not read its sequels, and I'm like unsure if I ever will at this point, but for now they can stay. Okay, I think that's actually where I'm gonna leave it. I haven't unhauled like masses of books, but how many do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 21. You can't actually see any of these. There we go. 21 books being unhauled, 21 books that don't spark joy for me. Let's move so the lighting is a little bit better for you to see my face. Yeah, 21 books that no longer spark joy for me. Off my shelf. Not too bad, but just just keeping on top of making sure that the books that are in here I actually care for. That is that for now, so thanks for hanging out with me for a bit whilst I just have a bit of a spring clean in the shelves. Hope you enjoyed. Sorry if I've got rid of some of your favourites. I'm looking at all the Bone Season lovers. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna go now, but thanks for hanging out. Hope you've had fun, and I will see you in whatever comes next. Bye!